Hello. Okay, so I'm still stuck and they won't let me go Facebook Live. So I am going to go live here until they allow me back on Facebook again. I don't know why. But I thought I'd give you a better angle this time on when I'm doing my wreaths. I'm still here. But I picked up this lemon bunch. And I thought, you know what? I want to do a lemon wreath. So I'm doing a lemon wreath. I found a beautiful design on Etsy. So I created a sign with it. And this is going to be my inspiration piece. Even though I picked these up and these were my inspiration, this is going to be my inspiration piece where I'm getting all my colors from. Okay. Let me see if I can go ahead and post this into my Facebook. So I will be back. That way I can at least let everybody know that I am live. Okay, so hello. If you are here, please say hello. All right, it looked like it might rain here. I'm in Pennsylvania, so I wanted to shut my windows. All right, I don't know if I'm able to see comments here because this is a whole different, oh, hello. I'm using my phone. My iPad went dead, of course, right? Let me see if I can bring my computer over. Well, well. Sometimes navigating both sites at the same time doesn't really work well. Let me see if I can go there. If you're here, say hello. That way I can see if I can see any comments. Not sure it's letting me see comments. Okay, I'm seeing some. Yay. All right. All right, so we're going to see if the comments are going to stay up. I really wish I could get my iPad working, but let me see if I can do a different charge on it maybe. I forgot to plug it in last night when I left, and I was just talking to my husband and it went dead. So let me see if I can let it charge for a minute and then really get it going here. Alrighty. So I found these at Michael's, a bunch of lemons, literally a bunch of lemons. And I really thought, you know what, I really want to make a lemon wreath. I've been wanting to make one, and today's the day. All right. So I found a pretty graphic, a design on Facebook, and I love the colors, or not Facebook, on Etsy. I love the colors. They were them soft greens and just a box full of lemons. So, and it says Farmers Market Organic Lemons, fresh picked daily. And I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a sign out of it. How pretty is that? So this is kind of my, even though this was my inspiration, this is my focal inspiration colors. I see a lot of lemons designs that are done it with the bees and the blacks and whites, or not blacks and whites, yellows and blacks, and they're pretty as well, but I wanted to stick with some green and yellow, some of the softer colors. So that's what I'm doing. All right, I'm kind of like really got my space here all limited, so let me push this back a little. My throat's a little scratchy. I am getting over this stinking cough. I got it when the last time I was down in Florida, and it was a horrible cough. I got it from the motel room, I think. All right, so I actually sublimated this on an aluminum panel, an 8x10 panel, and I put my cable ties on it, okay? And I'm actually going to, because like if you're in any hot places, hot and humid especially, like anywhere like Florida, things like that, these things tend to fall off easy. So I'm going to Gorilla Glue this just around the edges. I'm going to let this dry up. So just so, because the sign's a little heavier, I don't worry as much about my pieces being hot glued into the wreath as I do some of the heavier items like a sign, because this will definitely detach when it starts to get humid, things like that. So, oh, did I just glue my fingers? Well, we'll see. That's some Gorilla Glue. We'll see. So I did 4 of them on there because I really want that to kind of just, sometimes I do 2, and it just sometimes doesn't seem enough. So I'm going to do 4 today. Never done it like that before. I'm going to set this aside. These are just cable ties, and then when it comes time, we will put our pipe cleaners on and we'll attach it to our wreath, okay? I'm going to let this go aside, and I am going to let that dry. Hopefully it dries in enough time. All right. So when I do grapevine wreaths, I really like to beef them up, give them some bulk. And I like to do that with decorative mesh. Okay, deco mesh. That's what I like to use in my wreaths. All right, and you'll see I pull my wreaths down, I put them back up, I pull them down. That's just the way I work. Everybody works differently, and that's just the way that I do it. So let me put this aside because now I can't. I'm so short on workspace here. Alrighty, so I cut these about. Oh, don't throw that wrapping out. I need this. This is literally from Michaels, and it's their Celebrate brand. This is poly burlap mesh. And I like it because to me it is almost like a fabric-y feel. It's very soft. Very soft. And this has become one of my new favorites in mesh. I actually like it a little bit better than my just decorative mesh, regular mesh, the polyester mesh. This is nice and soft. So I'm going to cut. I always start with, I do 7 pieces of of this mesh. Sorry about the cough. But we had a room in Florida the last time we was there that really smelled like mold and mildew, and I immediately got a cough later that night. Still fighting it a little. I actually think the room was moldy. So no more for that hotel. My husband got sick the week before, the visit before, which was about 2 weeks before that. And I thought, well, maybe it was just the room. No, I got sick this time. And it always smells musty and moldy. So I don't think they're cleaning their air conditioners. So we got 5. I'm going to do 7. And this really, when you incorporate this into your grapevine wreaths, it really helps to add a lot of oomph to it. Kind of makes it nice and bulky. And you know, I'm all about bigger, better. Okay, so what I do is I take this and I treat it just like as if I was doing a deco mesh wreath. Okay. If you're commenting, I can't see anything. Can somebody leave me a comment? If you're here, can you please leave me a comment? Just say hello. I want to see if it pops up. My phone's looks a whole lot different. And I can't see anything, literally. Let me see. Nope. Isn't that crazy? I can't see anything. Oh, there we go. We got some. They popped up. Okay, I'm super excited. All right. So maybe that will stay on the screen. All right. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, oh, it went away. So I guess I got to watch. All right. So I just treat this like I do any other mesh the way I do it whenever I am making a decorative mesh. I roll the end up and then I'll just finger walk it, and then I will give a little roll at the end to tuck those ends in, and that's it. All right. So what I do is I want to do I call it a half moon. I don't really know what it's called, but that's the way I'm going to do it, because I want to put my sign over on the one side and I'm going to decorate the whole other side. So all I do is usually I start right in the middle, and I am going to weave a pipe cleaner in here. All right, so let me see. Sometimes that's the hardest part. And I'm going to start right in the middle of this wreath, okay? And I'm going to just put I love this burlap mesh because it's so soft. And I'm just going to start there, okay? So I already found the way that I kind of think that this is going to hang. Because grapevines, they get a little wonky. So find out which way you're going to hang it first. and then start from there. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to do 3 up here, 3 down here, okay? Let me get this put on first because that makes it easier. Okay. So let's get these attached quickly. I'm going to try to keep you in camera here. Has anybody ever done a grapevine wreath with deco mesh? It really fills that, it really does, it really fills out your wreath. Sometimes this is the most difficult part, just getting the mesh. Onto the wreath. But it just gives it a whole nother dimension. And I cut off these longer pipe cleaners just because we don't really need them. And let me get one more here. And I swear sometimes this is the hardest part because these grapevines can be weaved so tightly. They are sometimes so hard to get to. And they're messy. Grapevines, wreaths are messy. I don't care how much you clean that wreath, you'll always have leaves falling. So I just kind of take it outside, I tap it off against the wall, and then I just start working with it because I don't care how much I've cleaned it, it still ends up making a mess. It's just the nature of the beast. All right. So there we go. We've already got some here. So let's go ahead and start up the other side, up at the top. Let me see if I can get these in. So I kind of even have a sore throat a little bit. I don't know if it's just from coughing so much. No fever or anything like that. I don't have COVID. It's funny because the days of going out and just having a cough, I don't care if you just got allergies and you just got a cough. Those days are long gone. People look at you like, you're like, shh, I'm afraid to cough. And it's funny because that's the truth. I'm like, okay, I just got a summer cold. Whatever happened to those days? All right, this one's being a little bit bratty here. This one's really tight. So, you know, I find it kind of amusing, even though it's not. When we was at the hotel and we were leaving, we got into the doors open, and I was coughing pretty good by then, but from leaving the hotel. It was actually a motel. When I was leaving, and the doors opened, and here comes, you know, you look in, there's like 3 or 4 people. I'm already hacking at this point. I said to my husband, he's like, come on. I'm like, nope. Not even going to subject myself or these people to thinking I'm infecting them all. Which I know it's just from the mold. But I didn't want people looking at me and thinking, oh goodness, what's this lady doing here? How rude. So the days of just having a cough or a summer cold are long gone, where you can go out in public and nobody look at you like you've got the bubonic plague. Sad to say. So last night my granddaughter stayed over, so I slept downstairs on my recliner. So I did not get the best of sleep. I'm a little bit tired today. Okay, so here we are. All right, so let me see. There we are, okay. So we've got a really nice base going. See how I did half of it? Now if you wanted to, you could, and you wanted to do a whole wreath, you could do a whole wreath and have your deco mesh incorporated into it. I'm not gonna do this over here simply because I'm gonna leave that open for this here. All right. That will fit there nicely. All right, so let's grab some greenery. I found two different kind of greeneries. If you follow me on a regular basis, you'll know this is one of my favorite. It's almost like a papery fabric. I love this greenery. I need to get more of it because I find myself using it in almost every wreath I do. It's my absolute favorite. And I picked up this because I think it kind of looks like lemon tree. Like this would be the leaf that I would see on a lemon tree. All right. So I was debating, do I want to put this in? Do I just want to kind of stick with this? And get this in? I'm kind of not sure. I'm kind of on the edge about this. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just going to, like I usually do, I don't secure everything right away. I get in and I'm gonna just get an idea on what and where I want to put stuff. Alrighty, so I like to pick apart my greens. This one will be a little bit, we might be able to pick some of this apart, probably not. So that might be a whole thing itself. But I like to pick them apart and then I like to fluff them up, okay? Because that's how you get the most out of your stem bushes. They usually have like a try in them. You'll get the top, one down the side, one down the bottom. So they usually kind of come that way, and that makes it awesome because you kind of actually get three bushes out of that. So let's start building this, all right? And by building it, I mean, we're just going to start sticking some things in. Now, I do have a glue pot here. I probably should get my glue gun working too. All right. Let me get my glue gun. I have one of these Ryobi. Love them. It's battery operated, but let me tell you, it gets hot. Super hot. But it's nice because it's battery operated and you can just take it all around with you. So let me get that started. And then I have my glue pot, which is a Sure Bonder. And I love that because I will just, you can just take and dip your stems into it. And it is literally ready to go. So I like both of those. So I kind of use both. Forgive me if anybody's talking and I'm just the only one talking because I can't see comments. And I know it's a weird time to come on. A lot of people are getting out of work. But I just finished up some orders and I was like, I am going to go live. Because I'm going to do a lemon wreath. Get this. I think I'm going to stick this over here. All right. So I'm really just going to go in between all of these and kind of build a base. Alright, so see how this comes in a bunch like this? And you'll be able to see like that's a bunch, and then there's another bunch, and then there's a bunch. So I kind of just pull them apart in their bunches. And then I end up making 3 pieces out of 1. And then I just take them and I spread them apart really nicely. Make them wispy. Don't just fan them out to the sides. Bring them forward. I mean, when I'm done, like, kind of look how I do that. It's all fanned out. Everybody has their own way on which they do things. I always like to, when I get my wreaths, a lot of people will make their bow first. They'll get their bow placement, make their sign. They'll get their sign placement, and then they'll work around that. I kind of, when I went to the, I took some classes in floral design years and years and years ago, like years ago. And it was just basic floral. So how to create like arrangements. There was no wreath making in it whatsoever. It was just the basic floral arrangements. I actually wanted to be, my dream job was to be a florist. And one of the things they had showed us was how to achieve like symmetry, things like that. All right, and I know that looks crazy, doesn't it? And things like that. So that's kind of like, this one here is wonky. Let's change this. But I really do like to get my base done first. That was the thing that they had showed us in design school, was get your base, get all your greenery in, and then start adding your flowers. So that's kind of how I learned to do it, simply because that was how I was taught. But I don't think there's any right way and any wrong way. Really, there isn't. All right? Just you do you. As everybody always says, you do you. In the end, I say it's like a, let's get this closer. It's like a strike in bowling. In the end, when you look at the paper and you look at the score, a strike is a strike. It didn't say that your pin wobbled and it fell down at the last minute before the gate came down. It just said that you got a strike. So the way I do my wreath might not necessarily be the way you do your wreath, but in the end, they all show up the same. Okay, so now that I know this is probably where not probably, this is where my greenery is going to end. I am going to take my hot glue gun and I'm going to glue in here. Sorry if my head's in your way. I just want to secure it. And be careful because sometimes this glue can get on your stuff. And let me tell you, I have never met a hotter glue gun in my entire life as these Ryobi. This thing is hot. First week, thought I burnt my finger off. And I burnt myself very badly. In the first week, I had my new awesome scissors. I almost cut the tip of my finger off. So I like to break my items in this way, I think. Okay, so here we are. We've got the basis of, we're starting to put this in and starting to get our greenery in, starting to fill in our grapevine. All right. So let me see if I'm even going to, and where I'm going to put these, because I probably could. This is like a really big bunch, and it's probably going to need to be used as its own. I'm not sure I'm going to like that. So I think I'm going to scrap that. And I'm just going to add a little bit more of this. To my wreath base. I think I need a piece like right in here. I need one in here. Maybe. Maybe. I know I need one at the top, so let me fan this out a little bit more. I always have like a rough design in my head on what I want to achieve, but does that always happen? No, not always. It always ends up somewhere along the line changing. All right, let's leave it with this so far, okay? We're gonna leave it with that. Now my next favorite thing is kind of like the same thing. These are like paper flowers. And then we got these cute little like foam nubbies here, little balls. I don't know what flowers are. Listen, I could not tell you a name of a flower. I could not tell you the name of a plant. There's very few things I know. Some ferns, and all ferns are the same to me, so when I refer to a fern, it's all the same. Every fern is the same. I know some boxwood. Other than that, forget it, I don't know anything. Just pretty flowers. That's what I know. And we're doing the same thing with these. We're just kind of, these come in a big bunch as well with 3 different layers. All right. These I just had pulled off already from another batch, another time when I was using them. And really fan your flowers out, okay? You really want them to kind of get wispy. Almost like you almost make them into a bush, okay? But that kind of makes your wreath really airy. Sometimes grapevine wreaths are very, very tight. So getting into the grapevine wreath is really hard. So I need to cut this down a little. I need to get the bush cutter that I had ordered. It is still not in stock. I'm actually thinking about it's a stem cutter. It actually will literally cut a whole bush stem. And it's been out of stock forever. I think I might need to cancel it and try to find it elsewhere because it's been out of stock for a long time. And I really, really need it. All right. So let's get this wisped out again. Let's see if we can get these placed. Must be, I share this building with a hair salon next door. And it's been a very busy day over there for them. Very busy day. Yep, I see some glue dripping. Ah, okay. This is going to be like lemon, 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 yellow, yellow, yellow. We're going to have lots of yellow in this one. Yellow and green. It is so hard to cut through these stems. It's insane. I got these little needle nose pliers that ain't really doing much. Okay. Glue webs. Glue strings. All right, let's get this poked through here somewhere. So if you are not confident in your designing yet, take your greenery, take your flowers, and as you add it and you're happy where it ends up, glue it. Okay? You don't have to glue it immediately. Go ahead and decide if you really like it there. Okay? Yeah, I've been doing this for years, and you'd be surprised at how much I move stuff around. I really do. Because, you know, it's just, you have to look at it from your eye and then see whether or not does that really balance out. So don't feel like you have to immediately secure it in there, because you don't. me get a glue stick. And sometimes I like to give it a good wiggle so that it touches all surfaces and it literally will hit off of everything. Let's put a little curl on that. Alright, and then I have one more. We're going to stick it up here at the top. And I really am going to let this one be light in area. I don't want to overpower it with just a whole bunch of stuff. Because sometimes I think you can do an overkill, even though I'm more is more kind of girl. But I want a little bit more of the deco mesh to show through. A lot of times I just do them and they'll peep through. Yeah, let me see. I don't think this is insecure enough. Nope, it's not. Sometimes you just gotta be persuasive and get a screwdriver in there and make a hole. Sometimes it's just what you gotta do. All right. Let me put this down here where I can see this better. I'm telling you, sometimes these grapevines are put together so tightly, it's very hard to get in there. Okay, here we are. This one here. It's just not sitting right. We'll stick a bow there. How about that? We'll put our bow there. This will go to the top. Okay, let me find a spot for this one as well. Let me get that tucked down in there. Let me glue it. Already coming together. Okay, so I'm going to put a bow right in about here. This actually tilts a little more this way. I'm going to take it, I'm going to make a bow and we're going to stick it in there. Let me clean up a little here. What a mess. But I don't want my ribbon to get all yucky. Let's see if I can see any comments. Well, that would be negative. Isn't that horrible? I don't know how to see comments. Okay. Let me see if I have one more yellow piece. Telling you, as soon as I'm done today, here, I am going online. I am going to find a new supplier to see if I can find the stem cutter, because this is way too long without it. Let's find a spot in here. There we go. That's a good spot. Okay. And we still should be able to put our sign over in here. Okay, so we left room for that. Okay. All right, so I'm actually going to throw the bow on before I decide to put these lemons on, because I'm going to need to figure out where I want to put these. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm going to, let's fluff these out now that they've gotten secured in here. I'm going to go ahead and make the bow for this, all right? And then I'm going to decide where I want to place these lemons. So let's put those aside. Let's put my glue gun away. And all right. So these were all, since I had the inspiration of this beautiful design, I chose all of these colors here. I usually like to go about 5-6 ribbons. That's just the way that I like to do it. When I do, I like to, that's about what I usually like, 5 or 6 ribbons to make a really nice bow with. So that's where I'm at with that. So let's start building. And usually when I do them, I stack them as how I would like to see them on my bow. All right, starting with this as the base and then working my way up and out. Always wired, always 2.5 inches, and I like to have at least 3, preferably 4, but I didn't have 4 wide ones. 3 of them at least minimum for 2.5 inches, and then the other 3, 1.5 inches, okay? So I'm going to start building my bow. And I'm using the Easy Bow Maker. This one actually, if you get a chance to go to Sam's Club and get their seasonal ribbon, this is one of them. I don't know, mine was still showing that there was some available online. It is absolutely the best bang for your buck when it comes to ribbon. There should be, there we go. And I love Sam's Club ribbon. I've had very few where, there's a few of them I did get recently that I was like, that's a little thin. This one's a little thin, but for the most part, I've never had an issue with it. A little bit thinner than I like, but make sure you always get wired. But for the bang for your buck, you definitely, Sam's Club, you can't beat it. So I'm going to do 7-inch bow, ribbon, a bow. I'll start at 7 and then work my way out. Yeah, this one's a little bit thin. I thought this would be thicker because it looked burlap, but it was just a print. But it's a cute ribbon. Now this is a nice thick ribbon. This is also a Sam's Club. So this was thicker. Love it. And then I'm going to work my way down. This is going to be a 6-inch loop. And the nice thing about these Easy Bow Makers, they have number lines on them. So you can see, I don't know if you can tell this here, but even like right here is lines. So I'm able to see how big my loops are when I'm doing them. So I can basically work down. This is a Michaels. Celebrate it. This is a nice thick ribbon. And this one will be 5 inches. Seven, 6, 5. And another Sam's Club ribbon. This one's a nice thicker one too. So this one's a good one. I never use the spool holder down here. There's a spool holder, especially for these bigger, the bigger ones, because they tend to get in the way. So I just don't use them. I've used this one quite often. I kind of like this green. Tends to go with a lot of stuff. And if you're going to start with getting some ribbon, always make sure you start with getting some solid colors. In the very beginning when I started, I did a lot of solid color ribbons or bows, and they look just fine. But it is definitely a staple item that you will use all the time. I use a lot of my solids. I get an array of colors, and I always use them. I usually always have 1 to 2 solids in my bows. So if you are starting out and you're like, I don't know what colors to get, start with some solids. You can't go wrong. A solid color bow is fine too. And then just start adding to your collection. This is a thinner fabric on this one. So let me try to make the bow middle a little bit smaller, because it's thin. This is almost like paper thin. So I'm not a fan of this one, but I did like how it pulled all the colors in. All right. So now that we got that like that, Let me get a pipe cleaner and we're going to take it out of the bow maker and we're going to have a handful. And we have a ribbon sandwich. Okay. And this is a really important part. Smush, smush, smush that middle as tight as you can. As tight as you can. And the reason that is because you want your bow to kind of almost pucker up together. Okay? It gives you a really good bow where you're able to manipulate it a lot better. See how it kind of almost went up in the middle? That's what you want, because now I really can pull that bow apart, okay? I can start manipulating that all around. And that's what you want. You want to be able to start manipulating your bows apart, your ribbon colors, all right? I usually do one up, one down. One up. I'll pull this down. All right. And then one up. And one down. And then we'll start manipulating these tails around as well, because they can go up, they can go down. And then I'll clip them off as I see fit once they are on my wreath, okay? So I know I'm going to put this in about right in here. So let me get this put down here so I can get my bow in. And I'm just going to attach that with the pipe cleaner. And I'm going to weave this pipe cleaner in. Usually I like to tie it around the back, but I should have put a double pipe cleaner on it and I didn't. I'm going to try and feed this through, which is almost impossible half the time. All right, I might need that. Let me add a pipe cleaner. So if you don't have a long enough pipe cleaner, just add some. Take it and then just work it around. Attach a half a pipe cleaner to it and you've got more length to it, okay? Now there, I just made a longer. Literally, I'm just going to cut this in half, and I'm just going to add to it so that it's just easier for me to tie across the back. Let me get my deco mesh fluffed in here so I don't smash it behind my ribbon. And let me tie this off. Cut that off. Okay. All right, so let's start manipulating the bow, figuring out what's gonna go where. Okay, here we go, we got a bow in. It looks like a hot mess right now, but we're gonna fluff it out. We're gonna fluff it up. We are going to work it out, and we're gonna start cutting our tails down to where we see fit so that they work with inside. Let me turn this so that it looks good inside of the wreath, okay? So fluff that bow up, pull it apart. And to me, I think this is almost one of the most important things that you do is making sure your bow, because your bow is almost the centerpiece in itself. And I like to dovetail. Now you see how that puckered in here? Like that literally came together. That's exactly what you want, okay? Now all we're doing is dovetailing these. We're folding it in half and cutting away some of that tails. Okay, just giving them nice long tails. Let's get some of these tails pulled over because they're kind of hiding out over there. They were hanging out to one side. We wanted to pull them over. I think this one needs to still be a little bit shorter. There we go. Okay. There's our big, beautiful bow. And can everybody see? Oh, I'm knocking stuff over. That's just baby wipes. Okay, see how we've kind of got it all going? So now I want to go ahead, I'm going to stick in the, the lemons. Okay, because now I can tuck them in and around where I feel they kind of need to be, instead of, you know, them not knowing where I needed them to be and they were just kind of hanging out and I was like, oh, I don't like that. So, because they're kind of going to be a big deal in this. This is what the wreath is literally based around. So let's get the cut off of this. There's quite a bit on here. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that many of them. We'll see. Okay. So again, I'm just going to kind of stick them in here, just seeing where I want them. And let me see how many there are. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So good. There's an odd number on here, which usually the bushes will do that. They will usually have an odd number. We might need to, let's cut this down. I might need to, still not short enough, stick these to a longer stem, just to be able to get them in. And I like to, all those things that I was cutting off, those bushes, I like to keep these. And what I'll do is I'll attach these. When I have a short stem and I need something, I keep these kind of like paper wired. And I have some floral tape. And literally, I create my own sticks. Or lengthening sticks. I don't even know what they call them. Some people like to use the picks. I'm not a big fan of metal picks. So I like to use these. I keep these. All right. And that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to push that up there. And I am literally going to create and lengthen this. And by this tape right here, when you pull it off, it's not sticky. It does not get sticky. Floral tape does not get sticky until you stretch it. So you have to pull and stretch, pull and stretch. And then it becomes sticky and it sticks to itself. So if you got your floral tape out and you're like, it's not really sticking to itself, pull it and stretch. And twist it on, okay? That's how it becomes sticky. And it looks like I'm probably going to have to do that to 90% of these, simply because this was a tiny, short little bush. So let's just not even sense in fighting it. We're just going to give them longer stems. And I probably can wrap, I could probably make 2 or more like this. So that's what I'm going to do, just to save myself from having to put a bunch of them separately. Oh, see how I did that? I kind of staggered it, one high, one low. So the tanning salon next door, or the tanning salon, the hair salon next door, they also have tanning there. They've been busy today. Don't know what's going on over there. Maybe I'm missing out on something, but they've been busy. Okay, let's see if we can get 3. Let me turn this a little my way, because I'm kind of fighting this for myself here. Trying to give you a good view, and I can't see what I'm doing. Hardest part of a grapevine, trying to find where it goes. Okay, so let me see if I even like to have 3 there. Not liking that at all. I definitely liked it over in here. Actually thinking I might remove some of these leaves. I think there's too many leaves on it. So we're going to take care of that. Boom. Okay. I think there was too much on there. Okay. And then let's just put one over here. All right, so we'll put 3 down here, and I think we'll put 2 up there, and then we'll leave the other 2 for something else. Sometimes it gets so hot in my shop. I don't know if it's because they turn on their heat when they're here, because like Mondays they're here, they're not here at all, the hair salon next door. Tuesdays they don't come in until 1 o'clock. Usually noon, 1 o'clock, but lately it's been more like 1 o'clock. So I only have them here for a couple hours on Tuesday. But then when Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday come around, they're here at 9 until I leave, usually around, it just depends, 3 to 5. Just depends on what my day's like. Like today, I'm still here, it's 3:30. But Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sometimes it gets so incredibly hot in here. And I don't know if we're feeding off. I have my own system here, my own heating system. But sometimes I wonder if I'm feeding off of theirs. And does it get hot from theirs? I don't know. All right, I gotta figure out where I want to get this in here at, because my grapevine is getting really filled up here. I really want it up here. Okay, I think that's how I want it. Let me turn this so that I can see it. All right, so let me go ahead and glue this in. And again, I'm going to give it a wiggle. Okay. I still think I have too many leaves. I'm going to take off one. Which one is going to go? So I'm only going to put 3 leaves on here. And when you're doing something, make sure you do it in odd numbers. As you see, that's why I wanted to do 3 down here, 2 up there. It looks better. It's more pleasing to the eye. You know, any time you decorate, it's always odd numbers. Always odd numbers. Okay, let me give that a wiggle. Okay. And then I'm going to take this down and I'm going to glue the top. Just so I could see it better. Okay, let that set for a minute. this, I'm going to cut this down just a tad bit more. This is a very thin ribbon. So it kind of is a little bit weird. It's not my favorite ribbon. That's why it's in the center. And I will take my ribbon and I will finger curl it, meaning, you know, just literally if you do that to it, it kind of tucks it under. Gives it a nice little waterfall to it. And when you are taking pictures of your wreath, make sure that your bow looks good, okay? Go back and check your bow. Because you know when it gets to the person, that bow is probably not going to survive being completely good. And I try to make it so that my wreaths are very secured within my box and they don't move, but and that the top of the box does not smash the bow, because more than likely they are not going to know how to fluff the bow up correctly. So when they pull it out of the box, they are probably just going to pull it out of the box and they are going to hang it up, okay? So try to get your bow not to smush in the box. Am I not? All right, let me see if I can see this. All right. So here we are. So now we still have room. Go ahead and attach this on here. So let's get this attached. And by doing that, this has dried all around it, okay? So I'm just going to take my pipe cleaners and I'm going to thread them through. And I don't thread them like in half. I just put a little bit at the bottom and then get them tucked off and wrapped up so that I have a nice long piece, because I can cut that off once I get it back there. But at least I want to make sure I have enough to get it around the grapevine. I wish I could have seen comments. I wish I could have talked with y'all. I just feel like sometimes talking to myself. Unions or guys are probably the only ones that I talk to all day. Well, my grandkids call me a lot, but I work by myself in a building. It's nice and quiet. I usually have Alexa playing in the background, but I've learned, let me tell you a funny story. But anyways, I've learned to, let me wipe this off. Alright, so I have learned not to play music in the background because Facebook, YouTube will mute you and will flag you. Alright, so I've learned not to do that. I like to wipe my signs down because my fingerprints get all over it. And I can see that, so I just use lens wipes, cleaning cloths. I use them for my laser, so I buy them in mass quantities, in bulk. I buy big boxes of them. All right. So let me bring this down here because I'm going to need to work with it. all I'm going to do is just secure this on here nicely through the back. And just tightening it on. But I have learned that, you know, they'll flag you. After so many flags, they literally will shut you down for... Make sure you tuck these wires back in because you don't want nothing sharp hitting somebody's door and scratching it. So yeah, they'll flag you. So I've learned not to play music while I'm doing a live. But here's a something funny. So this morning, you know how you get on Facebook and it shows you your memories? Well, you know, I love it. It created me a whole memory thing. Facebook created me a memory. It was beautiful. It was all my grandkids, and it was piled together. I have 7 grandchildren. So it was beautiful. So I loved it. And when I shared it so that my daughters can see, and everybody could see this beautiful video. It's what it did. They made a video. And Facebook did this now. Facebook made me a memories video. It was about, I think it was 45 minutes or 45 seconds long. It was beautiful. Had all my grandkids in it, so I shared it. Because Facebook made it for me. It wasn't up on Facebook for more than 6 minutes, and Facebook flagged it. Because it had music that they had added to the video they gave me that I shared and posted, and they flagged it. You can't make this stuff up. So they literally flagged their own post. All right. So there we are. There we are. All done. All done. So what you think? What you think? Let me see if I can take it off of here. I can bring it up. Look at that. And look how nice it's fluffy. And that's why I like to add the deco mesh, because it really gives it a lot of volume. I mean, as you can see, and I don't like flat wreaths. I know pancake wreaths, if you've been doing deco mesh, that's a big thing. But I like to give it some fluff. I'm all about fluffy. All right. That's it. That is my green and yellow wreath. My green and yellow lemon wreath. So if you are still here, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you can see it. Let me know if you're even still here, because I can't see no comments. Maybe a heart. I don't know how it is on Facebook, or I mean YouTube. Okay. I don't see much, so. Oh, there it is. I got a like at the top. All right. Okay. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post this over in my Facebook group. If you are not in my Facebook group, I always put a link as well. It'll be in the comments underneath the video once I post it, once it gets posted. And I do sublimation, I do laser cutting, and I do floral wreath making over there as well. And when Facebook allows me, I go live. If not, then I'm live here. But follow me over there as well. And you have a great, blessed day. Thank you for joining.